So before I get started, I've never done pecha kucha before in my life, and my slides are self-advancing, so this is going to be fun. And just so you know, a lot of the the pictures in here I took myself because I wanted to share a little bit of me in it. So I'm going to start. Okay, here we go. So when I was told I was invited to do pecha kucha, I thought, ooh, introducing Provincial Health Services Authority might be a bit boring. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about myself. Not that I'm more interesting, but I've been working with PHSA for about 6 months now, so I thought it might be a nice opportunity to introduce myself and then to talk about the role of food security at the Provincial Health Services Authority. So that's me picking blueberries. I've had an interest in food most of my life, grew up with a huge garden and canning. And then I am a dietitian by trade, and I've worked in public health for about 13 years, and through all those roles, I've had some work in food security. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the roles that I have had. My first job was with a pregnancy outreach program, and I worked with low-income women and really found out how hard it is to give advice on healthy eating when people don't have enough money to buy food, let alone healthy food. And I also did some community kitchens and a good food box program and started to learn a bit more about community programs. I then went into community nutrition and did a broader scope of food security in Vancouver. And I started working on the Community Food Action Initiative when it first started, which is money that has come from the provincial government to each of the health authorities to support food action in the community. And I think this is one of those, this might be, I can't see Annalisa, one of those sessions. And I then went into school nutrition, and my job in school nutrition was really about promoting healthy eating and implementing some guidelines around what food and beverages could be sold. But I saw that as an opportunity to get kids involved in food, like gardens. And we created school gardens and school salad bars. And we actually created the first school garden policy in Canada at the Vancouver School Board. And I was involved in writing that policy and also doing healthy eating policy. And I realized what an influence policy could actually have on our work. And that's when I started getting more involved in policy. I also sat on the Vancouver Food Policy Council, so got some information in local government. I left my work, I went to Ontario, and I did my master's degree in sociocultural studies. I looked at the social, cultural, economic, and political influences on our food system and on the food that we eat and why we eat what we do. And so that's kind of rounded out some of the knowledge that I gained as a nutritionist through my other degree. I came to Victoria and I worked for our Ministry of Health and in BC. And in that program, I learned a bit about how government works and how things get funding and how policies get made and how decisions get made. And that was very insightful for working in the community and trying to move some things forward. And so now I'm at PHSA, and PHSA is a health authority. It's a provincial health authority, so it's a bit different from some of the regional health authorities. And my role in food security, I've just been there 6 months, but the role started in 2006 to really help support this Community Food Action Initiative, which is the money that came from the Ministry of Health. And also do some evaluation. And so what I do now, I kind of talk about being a bit of a spider and creating a web and bringing different people together, bringing the health authorities together, talking with our BC Food Systems Network to have a more coordinated approach around food security. So an example of that is we've just created a Health Authority Food Security Committee, which did exist a while ago but fell down. And so we're bringing the health authorities back together as well as the Ministry of Health to look at what are some joint priorities, what are some gaps, how are we going to work together to move food security forward in our province. And we're looking at best practices. And so I think we need this whole society approach. Like being here has been amazing. And seeing the grassroots all the way, to government, and I see that we need more collaboration. And Annalisa, that's her picture, is part of your connection into the health and government levels of food security. Another piece of work we do is monitoring and evaluation. And I don't know if many of you have heard of the Cost of Eating report, but we do the National Nutritious Food Basket every 2 years. I help organize that, and the nutritionists across the province cost what it would cost to eat a healthy diet, and we compare that to income. And then a report is written called the Cost of Eating Report, which Dietitians of Canada has published. And that Cost of Eating report is used to really increase awareness of how hard it is to live on social assistance or low income and actually be able to eat and might eat healthy. Well, it is about eating healthy. And it's used as an advocacy tool. Local government uses it, health authorities use it, and so do NGOs. As an aside, I just finished the Welfare Food Challenge today, and we were challenged to live on $26 for the week. My partner and I did it, so we got more money. And I can tell you, it is emotional, it is physiological, it is mental. It is way harder than I ever got that impression, even though I've been working with clients who are facing that all the time. So where are we at? From my view in food security, I think some amazing work is happening. I see so much work happening at the grassroots level, the community level, the municipal level, and at the provincial level. But I do see that we still need systemic change. We still need to keep moving food insecurity, addressing food insecurity. And so my vision is that one day, we have a province that's able to support sustainable food systems with local, sustainable agriculture, aquaculture, access to traditional foods, and that people all have access, financial and transport, to be able to access healthy foods. And so how do we get there? I think we're all asking, how do we get there? How do we make this happen? And I think we have to keep having these conversations of what's happening at the front line and at the grassroots level, what's happening in government, and come together and build that web of knowledge and experience to move this forward. So that's my 6 minutes and 10 seconds. So thank you all. I hope I just gave you a little bit, tiny little insight into what we do at PHSA. And I'm really open. There's my email to hearing from you, and I look forward to getting to know a lot of you more throughout the day. That's it. Okay, sure.
Just picked this up today.
The seat at the table, yeah, that's one of our documents.
I am on local government, have been for almost 6 years, as is my colleague. We've never seen this before.
Oh!
And
my CEO has got it.
Okay. Oh. But I've never seen it before, and I noticed it was done in June 2008, so I'm guessing it's time to redo.
So, yeah.
And for those of you that don't know what it is, it's a resource guide for local governments.
So what I can tell you about that is that's a resource guide for local governments. So the provincial government has put some money towards promoting health with local governments, and so there's a new program called Plan B through Healthy Communities. And on that website, you can find a new resource that was developed by the Ministry of Health and with Healthy Communities. And it's called Healthy Eating and Food Security. And it's on their website now, and they have some nice printouts that you can probably order at municipal level. We're also doing some work at PHSA through a Healthy Built Environment group around creating a toolkit that can be used by planners around a number of different areas, including housing, transport, and food security is also one of them, or sustainable food systems. That's in the development phase right now, but that will also be coming out. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Yes?
I don't mean this as a criticism, but there's
Sure.
something fundamental missing from you, right?
Yes.
The agricultural land reserve. And
Yeah,
what
right.
kind of cohesion is there among government departments with respect to that reserve and encouraging better and more sustainable and just more local production? And in addition to the current fear with the core review that they are going to actually make inroads into the agricultural land reserve, and that is a serious issue for the whole.
It is, and you're right. And I did have farmers on there, but I didn't have the ALR, and it wasn't comprehensive. Just let me put that out there. My web was just an example.
I don't mean it as a
but no, I know, and I don't work for the provincial government, so I actually can't answer the question as to the cohesion amongst provincial government. But I can ask it, and I have asked it.
Good.
So I am asking it from a health authority perspective of what's happening and what can I do to be able to,
And the Ministry of Agriculture needs to be working much more closely with the Ministry.
And that's exactly, and I didn't get, because I only had 20 seconds per slide, but I agree that we need more intersectoral between, provincial governments and local and provincial, all the way down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's coming though. I think they're doing
Yeah.
that now, more so than they ever have. At least that's what I got from the Minister of Agriculture the last meeting we had.
Yeah, well, when was that?
A couple months
Sure.
ago, or last month.
Yeah, you
As
said
a
that,
farmer,
right?
some of us have sat and talked to those provincial ag ministers, and we're told the same thing. You're on your own.
Yeah.
There is no money. We already have the smallest budget of
I know.
anything in BC.
Yeah,
Next to Newfoundland, we're the smallest budgeted province agriculturally wise, and we're all told, be innovative. Be resourceful, do value added. Well, number one, value added doesn't go to farm income. As soon as you do value added on a farm, that's not even considered farm income anymore. And then it might put you into a different tax bracket. So now you're not even taxed as a farmer, get that break.
yeah,
There is no conversation between the ag department and farmers.
yeah, okay, that's good. Well, that's some of what I've heard. I know the BC Food Systems Network has been really trying to get their foot in the door on this ALR piece.
Yes, they are.
So I've been following them, but they're definitely a group to connect with to get to help with that advocacy piece.